Last night, Tina Knowles launched her 9-city book tour to promote her memoir. That's not Tina Knowles. That's that's Beyonce. There go Tina Knowles right there. She is promoting her memoir, Matriarch. And the event was in Washington, D.C. It was hosted by former First Lady Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama. And which I gotta say, there's an audience member here all the way over to the right in the purple. When I tell you, every time, when I peeked out and I said, why y'all didn't tell me former First Lady Obama was here?
And you know, DC loves it. The local news had her on talking about how she was here at the show and she looks like Michelle Obama.
Looks like Michelle Obama. Girl, you need to work with Michelle. Do you need a stand-in, Michelle Obama? My gosh, looks just like a beautiful, just like her. But Oprah, Beyonce, Solange, Kelly Rowland, they all made virtual appearances and singer Lettucey performed. And it was just a fantastic night. And Miss Tina and Miss Obama, they spoke about a number of topics. But what everybody is talking about is what they did at the end. They did the boots on the ground line dance, both of them. And that's the thing, everybody's doing the boots on the ground line dance. So they did the boots on the ground line dance by 803 Fresh. And they were doing it. They had it, okay. Now Miss Tina, she didn't carry it through because I think she had that gown on. It's hard to do the boots on the ground dance because she was the one that wanted to come out to that song. So Miss Tina had it. Definitely Michelle Obama had it. But Miss Tina had that gown on, so she wasn't quite able, but she said, there she go, pulling it off. So, and Michelle Obama looks like she didn't have Barack and they was practicing that dance. But that is that Chicago energy. We love Chicago is a town of stepping. So it is in Michelle Obama's blood. We step. And when I say I've always loved line dancing because I am from Chicago, and you know, there's just a place we would go to all the time to do line dancing. So I even did the boots on the ground dance. I got in on it with my glam team, Theo and Rodney, and then Jocelyn, who's our staff photographer. Jocelyn, she's our staff photographer. Now Jocelyn had her fan. I forgot my daggone fan. And let me say, I'm the main person who should have had a fan with all these hot flashes I be having. Didn't have my fan. But it's so much fun. If you don't line dance, because line dancing, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but it also, when you take dance classes, it helps stave off like dementia and Alzheimer's because your mind has to get in line with your body. Line dancing is so much fun. Phaedra Parks was talking to me about it one time because she teaches line dancing. And she's coming on the show. But it really takes some dance classes because it really helps with, you know, brain functioning. So Tina Knowles, I know you've been doing a lot of interviews promoting this book, and congratulations, Mama, because it's on the New York Times bestseller list. And not only on the New York Times bestseller list, it's #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. It really, and it's not all about Beyonce and the kids. It really, she lived a life and came through it to talk about it. So Beyonce congratulated her mother. She said, the mama tea was that good. She said, you deserve it. I'm so proud. So one of Tina Knowles, and this is what I love, she's been doing appearances everywhere. I think she even said she was coming on my Two Funny Mamas podcast.
Yeah, and we tried to get her here on our show. The scheduling didn't work out. But you know, she's a big fan of the show. She watches every day.
Yeah, she just has a lot of appearances that she's making. But she was on Scott Evans's YouTube show, House Guests, where she opened up about meeting her first husband, Matthew. And she said that initially, Matthew Knowles was not her type. She likes her man a little rougher. Oh. Take a look.
He was a nice-looking man, and he was very charming, but he just was very studious-looking and very corporate, and that wasn't my, you know, I kind of like him a little rough around the edges and a little round away.
Okay.
A little bit of thug.
Yeah, look, you know, little edge to it.
Very corporate and, you know, very suited up and used the corporate language, and I was like, oh, he's a little too nerdy for me.
Now, I was a little shocked because I would not have thought that Tina Knowles. I mean, I thought that she would love a man like Matthew, who was stable, who had the 401k and all of that. If you told me that Tina Knowles like a roughneck, I'd have been like, what? But I am gonna say something. Let me tell you, don't sleep on the nerdy ones. I know men don't like to be called that one. Men who just like, they're good men, they love stability. They give you stability. Those are the ones that will show up for you when you gotta be at that doctor. Those are the ones that will be there for you when stuff needs doing. Those are the ones that make you feel amazing. Those are the ones that you walk through the door and their eyes just light up when they see you. I think that sometimes women, we're so used to up and down in the emotions, and when you got a man that's just stable and is like that, we got to learn to be intentional about making that a good thing, and not calling a man nerdy. I don't like the word nerdy, but it's a good thing when you have that kind of man in your life. I must have a lot of roughnecks out here who just who don't agree with me, but I will say this. There is something to be said about a roughneck. I don't know what it is. It's something about walking with somebody that's got a commanding presence. All they got to do is nod their head like this and everybody falls in the line. A roughneck does something. They make you feel safe because you just feel like if something jump off, you got your roughneck next to you. I don't know, because why you think Tina's daughter Beyonce when she was liking Jay-Z? Okay, Beyonce didn't go out with Jay-Z. She was going out with Jigga. You remember that when he was Jigga? And luckily, you stayed. Luckily, Jigga turned into Sean Carter, chairman of Rock Nation. All right. So but he like elevated. But I'm gonna tell you, I think every girl has to go through the roughneck period. I learned my lesson with those roughnecks. I'm telling you, I learned my lesson because I was sheltered. I was sheltered. I dated a man. He had a tattoo of a 9mm on his stomach. And it was all good. Everything was good because every time he walked down the street, or every time he crip walked around the street, when I tell you everybody fell in line, and I was like, oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! And it was all good until stuff came out. John Murray, who is my best friend, he does investigation on everybody that I get with. And so John came up with all these receipts, and I could not ignore them. And we were supposed to meet, oh my gosh, we were supposed to meet for breakfast at a restaurant. And I found out he was in a restaurant with another woman. When I tell you, I rolled up on that restaurant. And see, this is how I know that God, you know how you do things and you know God just loves you? This is how I know God loved me, because the way I acted in that restaurant, not one person had a camera, or nobody pulled out a camera phone when I walked in there, because when I tell you all kinds of bleep, 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 go to bleep, what bleep, bleep, bleep came out of my mouth, I was not Sherri. The waiters and the waitress was like, Miss Sherri, you gotta leave. I was like, I'm not going nowhere. If people had cameras, that would have lived on forever, the way, the way I acted. So yes, everybody's gotta have their roughneck phase, but you gotta know when to hold them and when to fold them, and when to walk away, when to run. But I think sometimes you have to go through that roughneck phase so you can transition into the good, stable, so you can really recognize a man who really adores you and wants the best for you and won't let you come out of your comfort zone like that. He will push you to even go higher and be higher. So, Tina. I love hearing Tina. And if you get the matriarch, she has so many stories like this. They're so good. So good for you, Tina. Congratulations on being #1 on the New York Times bestseller list.
We're gonna have a good time.